Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks everyone for tuning in to the last video. I did mention that I would make an update, so I'm here making this update. In the last video I showed you my Xeon system that's just gone in running pfSense. I've got to say it runs flawless, really well. The temperatures are about 65 degrees, and considering the type of rack it's in, that's pretty good. And it's a Xeon system, so it's quite powerful as well. So I was expecting slightly higher than say 50, 60. The other purchase that I made along with this was for a Barracuda Web Filter 310, and it was on the used market in really good condition. So I bought it knowing that I might do a conversion to it to host the other board that I showed in the last video. I've done the build now. There's just one problem with it, and then I've also, the other server case that I purchased, I've had to install a different motherboard. I was going to install the Barracuda board, but I've had to use a different Supermicro motherboard because of the way the cable runs are. So I'm going to turn it around and show you what I mean. So this is the Barracuda Web Filter 310. I've had to take the front ports out. They wouldn't fit. This is the custom ports here, and they didn't work with anything. I tried to get them to work with pfSense, but couldn't. It uses these PCIe riser things that didn't really work, but they wouldn't fit anyway with this motherboard. This is it's a cheap board. I think it's about £50, but it has inbuilt 10 gig T, which is 6 10 gig Ts, which is very good. I do have some devices that can use 10 gig T, but I don't have a router that is 10 gig T. So to balance all this out, and then this cooler came from the Barracuda system. When I didn't have this on, it would bleep and it would go nuts that it was too hot. So that's fixed that issue. The only problem I'm having now is I need to get some airflow over these NIC shields, these heat sinks. So I need to figure out how to, blast some airflow from this side. Try and figure that out. But that's the last issue. And then this power supply came from the Barracuda unit, so that's fine. And I've added a Mellanox Connect X3 to give me the SFP Plus that I need. So I've got SFP Plus and 10 gig base T, and then for my internet coming in I have Gigabit, because no point putting on a 10 gig, it's only a 60 megabyte connection, so megabit connection. So yeah, that's for that. So really this would be my new pfSense box, because it has all the ports that I need. I do need to get some more RAM. It's only got 4 gigs. This can take up to 32. So far it's been a nice little system. I'll just turn it around. So yeah, this is my SFP Plus port, the 10 gig, a quick VGA, some USB 3, USB 2. Quite a little simple setup, but I think once that's on and working, it's going to be really good. I've already got pfSense installed. It runs really well, but I just need to deal with the heat from these heat sinks. Again, I might end up 3D printing a bracket to go down here, or 3D printing some fans to go here or something. I'm not sure yet, but I'll run it and see what it's like. And if it starts getting too hot, then I'll definitely have to run some custom cooling. So apologies about the fans. I'm still testing these out. It's a shame that there's not a baffle running straight over. I might end up 3D printing a baffle, just because when the case gets on, that will help the airflow, but it does still need a little bit more, I feel, or it needs them to be closer to the CPU. So if I can move them or try something, then I'll try that. One of the big issues that I had was with this motherboard, which is from the Barracuda system. I think I've made the video about this. But this is what was in the Barracuda system. It's a 6th gen MSI board. Has all the features that you would want, VTD, pass-through, everything like that. The BIOS is a bit funky. It's a OEM BIOS, so that kind of threw me at first. USB 3, so it's good, but the problem is the only power supply that I really have that's going to be any good for this case is this Supermicro power supply, and the cables need an extender to get them to there. I just didn't have the extension, so maybe when I get the extender I might put that board in, but for now this sort of Supermicro board can go in. I've only got one hard drive installed, and then I've got 2 that I'm going to put SSDs in, so the SSDs just sit here. So these are just little 16GB ones for pfSense or something like that, but not them. I'm thinking of a different one. I don't exactly know what the server might be, but I've been wanting for a while to try out different hypervisors, like Nutanix and a few others. I've got a big list of hypervisors that I've not fully tested, so this might end up being my test system. The biggest problem now is I don't have any rack space left in the rack to do it. So I've been thinking a couple of options. I sell this whole rack, the top and the bottom, and get a 42U rack, which would fit up to the ceiling, it would leave me about 2U of space. So it would fit up to the ceiling in here, with about, that much kind of space. That's one option. Now these racks, sorry for the lighting, these racks are pretty sturdy. So another option is just to get another 6U and put that on top like what I've done with this, but that's the less preferable option when you're putting weight and stuff on there. Let me turn this camera around. When you're putting weight on there, you don't really want it in separate systems. You would like it all in one where it can definitely take that weight. So that's one of the issues that I'm going to have. The other thing is I can try and shift it around a bit, maybe move this rack onto that table on my desk. It will fit. It's playing around and finding what works.